and welcome to Platform 9 3/4, the podcast that's as magical as it sounds. I'm your host, Jericho, and joining me today via the magic of internet is a special guest. I think he needs no introduction, so let's welcome Harry Potter. Just kidding, it's Harry Do. Welcome.
Oh, thanks for having me, Jericho. I promise I'm not a wizard, but I'll do my best.
Sure, Harry. Do you know what we're going to talk about today?
You told me it's about 1.5 generation Chinese immigrants, right? People like us, born in China and who immigrated to New Zealand at a young age, between 5 to 14 without parents or family. We don't belong to the locally born second-generation Chinese immigrants, nor the first-generation immigrants who came as adults. This group is rarely discussed, and it's an interesting topic. So, where should we start?
You've got the definition of 1.5 generation immigrants spot on. I bet a lot of people are hearing this term for the first time. So, before we dive into our topic, Harry, can you share with our viewers how old were you when you immigrated to New Zealand?
Absolutely, Jericho. I was around 8 or 9 years old when my family made the move. What about you?
Well, I was just about 7 years old when my family and I hopped on that magical plane to New Zealand. So, here we are, two 1.5 generation Chinese immigrants ready to chat.
Right.
So today, let's just chat about some of our unique experiences as a special group.
Sounds good.
So, Harry, do you think you're more Kiwi or Chinese?
How do I put it? I've heard people call second and third generation Chinese immigrants bananas. Yellow on the outside, white on the inside. But I think if we were to compare ourselves to bananas, we'd be those really ripped ones. You know, slightly yellowed on the inside.
Well, I'll have to leave my bananas out for a few days to see the color.
What I mean is that I enjoy both fish and chips and braised pork with brown sauce. At home, I speak Mandarin a lot, just like you, and we really mix in English words while speaking.
That's probably why my English isn't that great.
But I can really write in Chinese. When it comes to writing letters or articles, it's all in English. TV shows, English too. What about you, Jericho?
Well, I've self-taught myself Chinese characters, so I can recognize most of them. But the more complex ones, I have no idea. I'd rather just to try and understand Shakespearean English than ancient Chinese. I'm about the same as you, using Mandarin frequently. I feel like we use Chinese more than those locally born second-generation Chinese immigrants. The parents send them to Chinese schools for lessons, but we generally don't need to. Recognizing Chinese characters is relatively easy for us, especially at our school. Let's just say our Chinese language skills are well practiced.
Shh, don't let the principal hear that.
Don't worry, our podcast isn't that well known yet. Mr. Watson won't come across it. But we're not saying that our school isn't good. On the contrary, I really like ACU Parnell. Oh, what about you, Harry? How do you feel about our school?
It's pretty good, and there are many like-minded peers.
Yeah, one time after school, my mom picked me up. And as soon as I got in the car, she excitedly said, "I saw blonde-haired students leaving your school." I was speechless. I said, "Mom, there are many blonde-haired students at our school. There are also students with black hair from countries like Korea, Japan, Mongolia, India, etc. They're not all Chinese."
Our school is well loved by 1.5 generation Chinese parents because they highly value academics. Some reports even suggest that up to 90% of 1.5 generation Chinese immigrants choose New Zealand primarily for their children's education.
That's right. It's also one of the defining characteristics of 1.5 generation Chinese immigrants.
Yes, parents are escaping the intense educational competition in China, while also seeking out a school that excels academically for their children, just like our school.
But most people only know about our school's outstanding academic performance. But in reality, we have many other shiny qualities.
Such as?
Our school's drama program is great. Drama program is great. I have a feeling that soon people will greet each other with, "How are you? Did you watch 9 3/4 yesterday?" "Yes, I did. It's the ACG Students podcast. I watch every episode. It's fun and ACG students are so talented."
Haha, it's pretty talented. Did we get off track?
Yeah, you're right. Back on topic. So, here's our last question for today. So, Harry, do you have any plans for the future? Are you thinking of going back to China or staying in New Zealand?
That's a great question. I haven't really thought that far ahead. Maybe if the opportunity arises, I'd like to gain some experience in China. But for the sake of my next generation, I think I'll continue to live in New Zealand. How about you?
Well, I just want to visit China for travel and enjoy those delicious foods. My parents say that I'm a bit too naive to live in China. So, we've talked about a unique group today, 1.5 generation Chinese immigrants. We discussed our self-identity, language characteristics, and the unique aspects of our family's approach to education. While there's so much to explore, unfortunately, our time for this episode is running out. So we have to wrap it up now, or we might get in trouble for going over. Last time, I got deducted 2 points for drama, and that was really, really sad for me. So, Harry, do you have any final thoughts on the topic?
You know, Jericho, it's been a blast sharing our experiences today. And I just want to say to all the 1.5 Gen viewers out there, embrace your unique journey.
Thanks, Harry, for joining us today.
It's been a pleasure to be on this podcast.
The audience, whether you're a fellow 1.5 Gen, a Kiwi, or someone from afar, thanks for joining us on Platform 9 3/4 Magical Conversations. If you have any great topics, feel free to message us, and you might be our next guest. Until next time, and keep the magic alive. Oh, wait, Harry, I forgot to surprise for you. A brand new broomstick.